you drag a heavy arm across the mattress to kill the alarm, completely and utterly drained of energy. But jump to 11 p.m., and you are lying in the dark, staring at the ceiling, completely wired. Why does biological energy perfectly invert your actual schedule? You need sleep, yet you feel wide awake. You need to wake up, yet you feel exhausted. This inverse reaction is a highly specific mechanical timing error occurring within your body, rather than a sign of laziness or a broken brain. It is a condition known as circadian misalignment. Circadian misalignment is a state where your internal biological clock falls out of sync with your external environment. It creates an escalating feedback loop that degrades both daily productivity and long-term cellular health. Let's roll the clock back to 7 a.m. to establish the biological baseline of your waking phase. When an alarm drags you out of a deep, slow-wave sleep phase rather than a light one, you experience sleep inertia. Sleep inertia is a temporary biological penalty characterized by severe grogginess and impaired cognitive performance immediately after waking. To understand why, we look at a chemical called adenosine. Adenosine is an organic compound in the brain that continuously accumulates while you are awake to create the sensation of sleepiness. Over the course of the night, your brain normally processes and clears these molecules. But if an alarm strikes while you are in deep sleep, that clearance process is abruptly halted. You are left with a heavy load of residual adenosine molecules still clamped onto your neural receptors. This stubborn chemical residue forms the literal morning fog. You feel physically exhausted because, on a chemical level, your brain receptors are still operating as if they are asleep. Fast forward to 11 p.m., and the psychological shift kicks in. The lethargy of the day vanishes, replaced by sudden, intense alertness. This chart shows a 24-hour timeline of human energy levels, and you'll notice a distinct upward spike just before the target bedtime. This is the forbidden zone of sleep, an evolutionary maintenance window where your body naturally spikes its alertness right before it releases melatonin. Under natural conditions, that spike drops off. However, exposure to artificial light from modern screens intercepts that decline. The blue light tricks the brain into halting its melatonin production, keeping that energy curve artificially high. Combine that with revenge bedtime procrastination. Revenge bedtime procrastination is the behavioral habit of sacrificing sleep for late-night leisure to regain a sense of control over a busy day. This psychological stress triggers the release of cortisol. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone, designed to increase heart rate and alertness. When it floods the system, it pushes your nighttime energy into an unnatural, severe spike. The mechanical consequence of running this artificial engine so late into the night is severe. It forcibly shoves the onset of your deep, restorative sleep cycle into the early morning hours. The midnight engine guarantees tomorrow's morning fog. Because your sleep cycle is delayed, your morning alarm will inevitably interrupt you during deep sleep, locking you into a vicious, inescapable loop. The exhausted morning and the wired night are the exact same mechanical failure, simply viewed at opposite ends of a 24-hour timeline. The logic follows that to shut down the nighttime engine, you must actively intervene to burn off the morning fog. The most effective biological protocol for this is simple. View bright, natural sunlight outside within the first 30 minutes of waking up. When natural light waves enter your eye, they act as a hard reset for your biological clock. This exposure immediately halts residual melatonin and initiates a strict 16-hour countdown timer in your brain. By anchoring this timer in the morning, you synchronize your rhythm to the day. The timer ticks down, ensuring your body prepares for sleep exactly when you want it. Conquering insomnia and mastering your nighttime energy doesn't actually begin in the bedroom. It begins with how you manage the very first light of your morning,